Good morning, YouTube channel. My name is Leroy Douglas, and along with my wife Andrea, we are with Two Wing Touring. Now, normally we're talking about motorcycles all the time, but today, with it being raining outside, we've decided that I'm going to turn into a chef for today. So I'm going to put together probably the only thing that I really know how to cook, and that's my world famous chili. At least it's the world famous chili here in this house. It is a good chili. A lot of people that have eaten it said it's really good. So you know, I'm going to show you how I make it. There's a lot of people I've promised this to, and okay. Without saying anything else, hey, I would like you to, if you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel. If you like this video, hit like. Make a comment. Let me know if you would like to some of more of the information about the chili that I'm cooking. Okay, I'm going to start off with the ingredients that I will use. First thing is a good chili powder, and I have a particular chili powder that I use. It's my trade secret. However, if you are a subscriber and want to know what the secret is, hit me up and I'll tell you what it is. The other thing I use is Tony Chachere's Creole seasoning. Really good. It gives a real good taste to the chili. That little extra bit of aftertaste. It's not really spicy. I'll use 2 pounds of hamburger meat. The less fat, the better. Of course, we all know that. I use a 28 ounce can of crushed tomatoes. I've already put it into the soup, so don't worry, it's empty right now. But 28. And then I take two small cans of beans, no matter what they are. Black beans, pinto beans. You might want to try something different. If you don't like pinto and want 2 black, put 2 black. If you'd rather have 2 pinto, put 2 pinto. That's you know, that's one thing that I was taught. No matter what, make it to your taste. Now, the other thing I use is 1 sort of large onion. Dice it up. The white onion is what I use more than anything, but I have used other onions. Banana peppers, mild. They do add that little extra to the chili and makes it taste really good. And the other thing is you'll put in a large can of water, or 3/4, normally about 3/4 of this can we'll put into the mixture. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take and put in all the crushed tomatoes and the beans into the large pot and mix in the water. You want to cut it on about medium temperature. Let it sort of get warm. Maybe where it's starting to bubble a little bit, and then cut back the heat a little bit. Right now, I already pre-started this, so it's already just about ready to bubble. Then after that starts, you want to take your hamburger meat, put it in your pan, and if you had a 10 on your dial, you want to use it about 6, so a little bit over half. Now, what I do is I like to have the hamburger or the ground beef really chopped up real fine. So about 90% of the time while I'm cooking this, it's actually chopping this up all the time. And I try to make sure that no matter what I do, this meat is fully cooked. You know, the larger the pan, the larger and flatter the pan is, the actual better that it does mix up, because we have 3 or 4 of the ingredients that we'll actually put in here. Get it started out, chop it up for a little bit. It's a good sizzle to it. I get a good workout with my arm. That's why my right arm is so much stronger than my left. You know, I do get a good workout with this hamburger meat. Okay, when you do that, make sure you stir this often, especially whenever it starts to bubble. You do want to make sure that it's, you know, it is stirred up. You don't want anything to burn on the bottom, but you don't really have that much problem with the medium heat. And on this stove, actually, we have a double, the outside and the inside coils. And we'll start out with the whole thing, and then toward the end, we're going to shut it down a little bit and just let it simmer. Now, one of the things that we won't do, and we're going to add the sauce, the chili powder to both as they're cooking. But what we want to do is make sure that the crushed tomatoes have really, that has really started to warm up. Make sure that it's, I mean, you know, about time when it starts bubbling, you start shutting it down, then you can add in the chili powder. The amount that you use, we'll go through that as I start getting a little bit closer to getting this finished or putting it in. But I will tell you that normally I use anywhere between 6 and 8 tablespoons of the chili sauce. Now I know that's a lot, but it really, really adds a good taste to the chili. The way that I buy this chili sauce is we buy it in a big 5-gallon container. And yeah, it takes about a year to get it all cooked up, but it's you know, this is a really good meal. And the good thing about this is in this house, I'm the only one that eats the chili. Andrea don't like spicy things, so she has to cook and make her other things. All right, this is starting to get warm. We want to start cutting it back a little bit. It's going to have plenty of time to completely simmer there. What I am going to do is I'm sort of going to turn this hamburger meat over because I want it to get, you know, pretty well evenly brown. So I'm just turning it over. And another thing is, yeah, I don't use one of those little special things. I just use a spatula just to sort of ground it up. Two things it does mince it up pretty good, but also keeps me busy while I'm doing this. And another thing we're going to have to do is once we do get this hamburger meat fully browned, we're going to drain off the fat. Okay, this is starting to bubble a little bit more. So what I'm going to do, looks like it's getting to a really, really good temperature. I'm actually going to start off with 2 tablespoons of the chili powder. Mix it in. And again, make sure no clumps. Once I do that, I'm going to stir this in pretty good. I know you can't smell it right now, but I will tell you it smells really, really good. Hey, but I'm prejudiced to this kind of chili. I really love it. And we're going to take some Creole seasoning and mix it in just a little bit. Again, you'll figure out exactly how much of both that you really want to put in there. Cut this down. I'm going to turn this down to probably, if we saw a level maker, it'd be about a 2, just above the low. Continue to chop up the hamburger meat, ground beef. And as you're doing it, you're going to get it smaller and smaller and smaller. And I will tell you the reason I do that is that when I put in the chili powder, when we mix this in, you're going to try to get it to stick to every little bit of the hamburger meat that you can, because that's another actually real good taste. So the taste actually stays with the chili from beginning to end, and even if you put it in the fridge or the freezer or whatever, still works out pretty good. And as you know, I'm not a chef, so I'm gonna be rambling here. If we were talking about motorcycles, that would be a little bit easier for me to talk. But talk about cooking. And so this right here, this is episode 1 of the bald-headed chef here. But I don't even know if there's going to be an episode 2, because this is pretty well the only, unless y'all want to learn how to boil water. Now I can do that sometimes. All right, got that all mixed in some more. I see it starting to bubble just a little bit again. I'm going to stir it. Next thing I'm going to add in some bell peppers. Or the banana peppers, bell peppers, banana peppers. And I want to put in, probably if you saw this jar, it's a 16 ounce. You can put in as many as you want. I normally use this jar here for three of my chili concoctions. Put a little bit of juice in there. And I had some left over from another container that I had to use first. At least I was told I had to use them first. So, see me, I was going to pour them back in the other one, but no, couldn't do that. All right. And this is going along really, really well. And I don't know if you can see right back here behind me. See, my chili won competition. So I don't know if it's world famous, but hey, it's famous in the state of Arkansas. And it's pretty famous over in Saudi Arabia, where I just came from, because I cooked it up a lot of times for roommates that I live with and people that I work with. And that's, it seemed like every week they wanted to know when I was going to bring the next batch of chili in. I didn't get to have exactly all of the same ingredients as I have right here. When I first got over there, it was really, really easy to find the banana peppers. And I'm telling you, the banana peppers add a really good taste to this chili. But I first found them, everything was good, and then all of a sudden I went back to the stores that had them, and they didn't have them anymore. So I had to try to figure out a different thing to use. So what I ended up doing was with using different types of peppers. I didn't want to get a real spicy pepper to take away from the taste of the chili, so I kept having to go in and find different ones. And after a while, I found a good pickled pepper that I could use, and it worked pretty good there toward the end. I'm happy to be back home where, I can get everything that I need to make this chili. Now, again, this is my recipe. This was sort of a little bit different than what the guy who taught me this recipe back in 2018, 2019, when I was in Saudi the first time recently. So, you add what you want to. Try different things. Listen, I've got this just about beat up pretty good. And I see that it's looking pretty good. It's pretty well browned. But I just want to make sure. And I'm gonna be chopping it up some more, especially once I add my onions, and then once I add the chili powder to this. All right, I'm going to make sure I keep this stirred. It's still on just above, just a notch above low, but I can see the heat rising, so it's going pretty good. Now what I do is I keep the large crushed tomato can, and I'm going to do that whenever I have to drain off this fat. So once this is just about brown completely, and actually it pretty well is. All right. There's many ways that you can drain off the fat. If you ain't worried about putting the fat down your drain, then you might can do that. But we're on a septic system, and I'm not too crazy about putting fat down our drain. So just drain it off. There's so many different ways you can drain it. You know, you can get a colander, put something up underneath it, drain it off. Or you can pretty well do what I'm doing here. And you want to drain just about as much as you can drain out of there. If it leaves a little bit, hey, so be it. So now we're going to start our countdown to about a minute in between everything that we do. So I'm going to let this set here and simmer for another good minute. As you see, always making a mess, trying not to. That's just the way it is, though. So the next thing we're going to do to the hamburger meat, ground beef, whatever you want to call it, is we will add the chopped onions. Now, how many onions? Yeah, I said use a large one. We use white onions. This is a really good onion to put in there. But again, make sure that you put it to your taste. I do like this onion. It does taste good. So let me get another paper towel. Learn how to cook it. It's got to be simple. So now I'm just going to take about a minute's been over and just sort of put these onions right on top of the hamburger meat. I don't want to mix them in right now. I just sort of want to put them on top. And I got to make sure that I get every little piece of the onion out of there. If not, I will be scolded later. I'm not going to tell you who's going to scold me, but all right, just sort of mix them up just a little bit. Make sure it's sort of spread across. I'm going to go ahead and stir this a little bit more. Right, again, that minute, we wanted to brown it after we took the fat off for a minute. We want to put the onions on there and give it about a minute. And then after that, then we will mix in the chili powder. Give it a minute, then we're going to mix it in. I mean, listen, the house in here smells so good when I'm making the chili. At least that's what I think. I don't know, the cat thinks. Dan's standing over there watching me. She's trying to make sure I do it right. Now, Andrea don't think it smells so good, but that's all right. That's okay. All right, about a minute. Now we sort of want to chop this up. Mix these in a little bit. If y'all could saw that, Andrea just came around the corner with her nose stuck up. Well, I will have to tell you, yeah, I said that there's a lot of people that, you know, every time I make chili, especially my neighbors down the street, they enjoy it. I enjoy cooking it for them because they enjoy it so much. So, if you're watching, guess what? I got a pot made. All right, got them all good mixed up. And we want to let that set for how long? 1 minute. All right. This is really starting to, whoo, boy, good smell. Yeah, I had the guy that taught me this when I was in Saudi. He was a good overall cook. Had to knock the cat down, sorry. He was a good overall cook. He could cook a lot of good things. I was happy to have him as my roommate, because no matter what, when he cooked something, he always offered to give me some of the stuff he cooked. And then I had another roommate that he would always cook a lot. He loved to cook chicken. Only problem I had with him, he's always cooked so much. He would cook enough for 4 days, for both of us to eat for 4 days. But shout out to James on that. All right, I've let that set for about a minute. I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of the chili powder right on top. And we're going to let it simmer. If you watch it, you can see how when I put the chili powder on there, here it'll start soaking in. It'll start turning liquidy. I guess that's the word, right? You can see it actually soaking down into the ground beef. And this is just about perfect. I'm sorry, I got a couple of words that I use all the time. Talking about places that we go visit, everything is so beautiful. When I talk about my chili, it's so perfect, right? Okay. But it is good, trust me. Now, once we get this completely cooked, I like to at least eat the first bowl or whatever it is, or at least half a bowl, whatever it is, just by itself, because I want to get that good taste in there. 2 things that really, really, well, sometimes I'll eat, have crackers with it too. But 2 things that I really like to mix in here, or a lot of people do, and I of course tell them, hey, go for it, is shredded cheese. So once you get your bowl, make sure it's hot. Put you some shredded cheese on there. I'm going to start mixing this up a little bit. And the other is sour cream. And sour cream is probably what I like if I do want to put something else in there. The sour cream really makes the chili really smooth. The taste, the texture, everything about it. It's you just have that different taste to it, and it's really good. All right, I'm going to put a little bit of this Creole seasoning in there. You can start hearing it snap, crackle, pop in here. I'm going to cut off the heat to it. Actually, we want it to simmer a little bit. Get it all mixed up. Okay, well, that's how it looks. Oh, yeah, I just spilled something on the stove. Hope the fire alarm don't go off. We'll see. All right, just sort of empty the saucepan into, or the pan here into our chili mixture, our tomato paste, excuse me, our crushed tomatoes. Now, that's one thing that I do is I use crushed tomatoes, and I found that they actually mix up better. But if you want to use diced or chopped or any other type of tomatoes, I'm pretty sure it's going to be okay. In Saudi, I could not find crushed tomatoes all the time, so sometimes I did use chopped tomatoes, and hey, it was just as good. But I do like the crushed tomatoes because I don't like to see the little tomato I guess thingies in there, right? All right. So after I got that mixed in, I want to take 2 more tablespoons of the chili sauce. Oops. Andrea, I made a mess. I like it. She laughed. Like that's a big surprise. Mix in some more Creole seasoning. Stir it up really good. Okay, and then we want to take and get us a little taste. Put it in the bowl. And what we want to do is just sort of taste to make sure that we have enough seasoning in there. So you want to grab a little bit of everything. And what you want to do is whenever you do get that down and you taste it, that you get that aftertaste. It should be a really good aftertaste. You know, I'll have to honestly tell y'all, I believe this is the best chili that I've made this month. No doubt about it. Yeah, once you think that if you've got that little taste and everything is good, you go ahead and cut this on low, cover it up, and just let it sit there. Of course, it's ready to eat right now. Again, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Please give me a comment if you can. Let me know what you thought. And if you are a subscriber and you want to know what is the chili powder that I've used, then send me a message. Let me know. I will tell you, it's no secret. It's a really famous one. You're not going to buy it in a package. You can buy it from different places, but the best place to buy is directly from the people who make it. Once again, this is Two Wing Touring. I appreciate you listening. Appreciate you watching. And we will talk to you later, maybe whenever we start riding motorcycles a little bit more. Thanks a lot. Be good, be safe, and I hope you enjoy the chili.